If it's blue, it's supposed to be white. I see blue, I don't know why. Anyways, so hello everyone. And I'm one of the last ones, so bear with me please, I know you're tired. I'm very happy to be here today. My name is Mana. I'm very happy to be here today and share my experience with you. But before I start, I would like to tell about myself to you so that you know me better. So I did my bachelor degree in economics at Taheri University in Tehran. Then got admitted into Humboldt University of Berlin, started my master's in economics and management science. In summer of 2010, I got accepted to join the summer school in University of Havana, Cuba. And a year after, I did my Erasmus semester at Boğaziçi University in Istanbul. And finally got into HPI School of Design Thinking and graduated from there as a coach. And ever since I've been working as a freelance consultant and coach. So now, apart from my academic and professional background, I am a very social person. I enjoy talking to people from different walks of life. I am very passionate about human-centered innovation, interested in social entrepreneurship. Actually, in Berlin, I'm one of the organizers and a coach at Social Workshops, which is a one-day event where we help people to come up with social business ideas for a given challenge. And I've been working on different projects, very diverse, in multidisciplinary teams, and I enjoy it. I also have been trying to travel and work in different places as much as I can. And finally, as you can see, I'm a very visual person and I love drawing. So now that you know a bit about my background, why am I here? 6 months ago, I went back to Iran and worked there for 3 months. And today I'm here to tell you about that story. It was the time getting close to our graduation. There was this pressure building up that you have to apply for jobs and everyone was doing it. And especially for me, having visa limitations after graduation, the pressure was even higher. The problem was that I was just not ready for it. I really was not ready for, okay, getting employed somewhere and that would be it for the rest of your life. And I also was very involved and engaged with this idea of somehow balancing my life between the cities I love, which would be Berlin and Tehran. So I knew that I have to do my own thing, but what was my thing? And I had to figure it out. So I started writing down all the ideas I had about art projects, business ideas, everything in a book, which I called an idea book. And as you can see, I managed to pour coffee on it later on. And from one of these ideas, there was a project that I worked with a friend of mine, Pablo, which is a brilliant service designer. We worked on this project and we called it Idea Nomads, which was a creative consultancy with a focus on the Middle East. So we were working on it and really thinking about the concept. To gather insights for the project, I decided to go to Tehran because definitely Iran was one of our destinations. So initially I planned to go there for 1 month, but I ended up staying there for 3 months. And during these 3 months, I collaborated with a lot of organizations, universities, especially entrepreneurship centers of universities, and individuals. I held several seminars. At Entrepreneurship Center of University of Tehran, University of Sharif, also Shahid Beheshti University. I held 3-day workshops on design thinking, which was actually somehow one of the kind at that point, because it was 3 days and they really supported me. And then the great thing was that I had this opportunity to join the Global Service Jam, which is a global event which is happening all over the world at the same time, and you could actually see global events happening and with a really high standards in different cities in Iran, and it's amazing because a year before I was one of the supporting team in Berlin for the Service Jam, and this time I was in Tehran doing the same event, but I was a coach and it was just a great experience. I was really trying to get as much as I can. I was writing articles for online magazines, meeting people every day, literally every day, people that I never seen in my life, and they would come to me after my seminars and we would meet for a coffee somewhere, for tea somewhere, and they would discuss their ideas and I would give feedbacks or talk about a similar idea that I've seen that worked or didn't work, you know? And I got to know a lot of cafes in Tehran, I think, after that trip. And I also did a team building workshop with an organization called Farhan. Finally, I kick-started the Make Sense movement with the help of some very passionate people that I found during one of my seminars, of course. And it's a global movement for supporting social entrepreneurship. And we're still connected and working on it, which is brilliant. Now, it all seems very easy and smooth, right? It was not like that. It was not always rainbows and flowers and ponies, not at all. There were really tough times for me as well. Of course, I've been always going back and forth between Tehran and Berlin, but it's very different when you're there for holidays. I had a mission this time. I had not that much time. I wanted to build a network, to work there, and it was very different. I came from Berlin creative, cool scene, and I had to readjust myself to the formalities. And that was a challenge. It feels like rediscovering the culture, your own culture, which is very interesting and eye-opening as well. I enjoyed the challenge very much. For instance, we were supposed to have a workshop at a university, which I'm not going to mention the name here. Don't insist. And we were, everything was ready, everything was prepared. Advertisement, registration, everything. And 3 days before the workshop, they told us that they canceled the venue. They're not going to give us the venue. And they didn't tell us why. And I really insisted on figuring out why. And I finally realized that someone has Google image searched me and found 2 pictures of me without headscarf. So these things can also happen. But to be honest, the positive side is much more than the negative, like the obstacles on the way. And I have really experienced it on my own, and I'm telling this. And what I really want to talk about and urge you is to know, to be mindful of the potentials and opportunities. I know it's quite difficult because right now we are, many of you might have visa issues, like restrictions, and you want to get employed right away. Some of you might end up opening your own business. And with that, it's always good to be mindful of the opportunities which are there. Maybe collaborate with Iran, maybe figure out a business model that can bring back something. You know, maybe have a team member from Iran. And this can change a lot. I think you all agree with me if I say that there is a cautious hope that things are going to change a bit. Especially regarding international trade and international relationships. So build the networks and work with those networks, because you really don't know what the future holds and you have to be ready for it. Out of that experience, right now I'm invited again to go back to Sharif University in 2 months and teach there at a summer school. I'm also working with a team. The whole team is based in Tehran. We are working on a business idea together, and it's also quite challenging, and we are figuring out where to actually find the business right now. Of course, there are a lot of obstacles on our way. But I really want to invite you to be mindful about those opportunities which maybe you've never ever thought about. In general, now the good news is that we don't need to be present physically anymore somewhere to have impact. We definitely have to take advantage of the technologies and the tools we have, and we can easily do that. We can organize ourselves and use the technology and even work from distance and have impact. In general, I found 3 main channels for myself to have this collaboration. Firstly, the knowledge transfer. Seminars, as some of the guests also mentioned, that you can have seminars, you can have talks, you can have workshops if you have an expertise. Just try to find that channel, network, and go and offer them, even for free. I've done a lot of stuff for free, actually, to build that network. And also, if you read a book, if you have access to the latest knowledge, why not translate them? Why not translate an article and make it accessible for people. The second one be the mentorship. Well, sometimes you really just need someone who's more experienced than you, who was exposed to something else, somewhere else, to give you good feedbacks. And the feedback is all they need. And you guys can definitely help a lot with that. And for that, you just need Google Hangouts and Skype, and maybe 10 minutes of your time to be connected. And that's actually pretty awesome that right now we can do that. And I would even go one step further and say business partnership. I mean, right now we have all this SWIFT system doesn't work with Iran, and problems with transferring money, but it's not going to stay like this. So you have to be prepared. And you would be surprised if you go to Tehran right now in one of the conferences, big conferences, and see young entrepreneurs. I've met a couple of young German entrepreneurs seeing a potential in this market. They actually go there a couple of times, they mentor the startup scene, especially the startup scene. And this is what our former guest was also referring to. To be an entrepreneur, when you want to create something that has a value, there's no one that can stop you. The startup scene in Iran, it's crazy because there are no proper accelerators to my knowledge. There are a couple of government-funded incubators right now, but the startup scene is very vibrant, is evolving on its own without all the infrastructures that you have here. And it's all through the passion that people have and the entrepreneurial mindset and the spirit which is there. And this is a great potential to use. And finally, I really want to mention something that I think it was not mentioned that often. You know, when we think about going back and working with Iran and going back, bringing back something, it's always this notion that we are bringing back something. So it has this top-bottom feeling, you know, like we are doing something good. But don't think about it that way, because you would be very surprised how much you would be inspired. You would get new ideas for your business. You would meet new ideas, fresh things that you maybe don't see in Germany, just because many things have been done before, you know? And then you see potential for change, and this is amazing opportunity. So I definitely think we should see it as a win-win situation, because that's what it is. Thank you so much for your time.